President Trump has talked about potentially suspending habeas corpus to take care of the illegal immigration problem. When could we see that happen, do you think?
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at.
I know a lot of people have been hearing about habeas corpus. Habeas corpus. What is habeas corpus? Well, let me try to break it down for you.
A writ of habeas corpus is a court order that requires a person in custody to be brought before a judge to determine if their detention is lawful.
So that's a basic protection that we as citizens have against a quote-unquote authoritarian government. So let's say you have police officers in your district, your city, your county, your state. You have a terrible mayor, you have a terrible police force, and they just go arrest who they want to arrest. Well, habeas corpus is essentially saying, let's go in front of an impartial person, being the judge.
Habeas corpus, that is basically the right, if you're arrested, to have a charge lodged against you and to have a trial.
And let's determine if my arrest was valid and legit. Let's see if you have some good proof that I deserve to be arrested and tried in front of a jury of my peers. Then you go into the other rights. So what happens when you suspend habeas corpus?
Suspending habeas corpus means you can just round people up, put them in jail, and throw away the key, and that's it.
Without that fundamental right or privilege as a human, not as an American citizen, but as a human, because habeas corpus is not just in America. It started in England and is kind of like all over the world. But suspending habeas corpus allows a government to just lock you up for no apparent reason. They don't have to have a reason. If you speak out against them, if your voice is louder than theirs and they don't like what you're saying, you could be arrested. And they don't have to take you in front of a judge, and they don't have to explain why they arrest you. They can just arrest you. And this has happened in the United States before. Most controversial is during the Civil War. Lincoln suspended habeas corpus in Maryland and some other places solely for, riots and insurrections, and it was a civil war and they had to protect the DC area or whatever and get trains and supplies through. So he suspended habeas corpus. Legal scholars have been trying to determine for years whether or not Lincoln was justified in suspending habeas corpus. It happened in World War II as well, where Japanese internment camps, you already know about that. So, and then I think even Bill Clinton suspended habeas corpus for a certain amount of time. So it's happened whether it was a good thing, a perceived good thing, or not. Why does Donald Trump wants to do it? Donald Trump wants to suspend habeas corpus because he keeps losing in the courts. Not just that. Go back the last 2 years of Biden's administration. What were they calling the immigrants that were coming to the border? They were saying it was an insurrection. They were saying it was an invasion. They were saying that we were overran. They were saying that this is a immigrant war or whatever.
The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion.
That was code words. Those were key words. They were trying to let you know, if we get into power, we're going to suspend habeas corpus. We're going to declare martial law. We're going to get all the illegals out of here. Well, if they don't target habeas corpus, they can arrest and get rid of everybody. The Congress right now is trying to pass a law that will allow Trump to deport American citizens. And it's all because they don't like the way the courts are going.
Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not.
We have 3 equal branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. And right now, if you don't like what the administration is doing, your only recourse right now is the judicial. Trump don't like the judicial.
Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not.
So they're saying, abide by us, side with us, or we will suspend habeas corpus and kick you all out of the process entirely.
Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not.
That way, they can open Alcatraz. They can send people to Guantanamo Bay. They can deport people to El Salvador. They can do whatever they want because they declared martial law and they suspended habeas corpus. And it is not just Trump. A lot of American presidents, there were a lot, Andrew Jackson, one of them, and Thomas Jefferson, that thought that they were kings or that behaved as if they were kings. And they did not like the judges telling them what to do. Hell, George Washington didn't like some of the things the court did, and he had a Federalist court. But what they didn't do is what Trump is trying to do. What Trump is trying to do is shirk all of branches of government. He's trying to shirk everything. He's saying only I can do it. Only I'm allowed to do it. At the same time, he's putting the people around him in charge of it, so if they mess it up, you can blame them. Y'all get ready. It's going to be a hot summer. What do you think?